right, Palm Desert Food and Wine, how y'all feeling? All right, all right. Our next amazing chef, she is a television personality, a restaurateur, a cookbook author. By the way, immediately after this, she'll be right outside of the tent signing cookbooks. Best known for her roles on Top Chef, Restaurant Startup, Cutthroat Kitchen, and most recently, Food Network's Guys Grocery Games. She is currently the executive chef and owner of Black Market Liquor Bar in Studio City, California, Scopa Italian Roots in Venice, California, and her newest concept, Dama, in downtown Los Angeles, was recently named by Eater Los Angeles as downtown LA's most exciting new restaurant and lounge, and was recently described by LA Times as having a meticulously designed menu that earns your trust by being consistently good. Please join me in offering a warm welcome to Antonia Lofaso.
Hello, hello. Oh. I've been known to be very, very loud on my own, so thank you. I'm Italian, and I'm a female, so it doesn't get louder than that, I think. Welcome, everyone. Palm Desert Food and Wine, thank you so much for having me. Was anyone at the lunch yesterday? Oh, good. A couple of you. Great, great, great. So you had the ravioli. Was anyone, I'm going to take it a step further, was anybody at the Toscana dinner on Thursday night? I've been here since Wednesday. Toscana dinner? Okay, good. Just wondering if we had any fresh or any faces that have been with me all weekend. So it's been my unique pleasure to be out here for the last 4 days. Today is my last day here, my last demonstration. Very excited to be here with all of you. I have wine coming in here for you guys, okay? Because it is food and wine. So you're going to have some food from me. We're going to have some wine. I want to make sure you guys have a great time while we're in here because it's only for 30 minutes. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, raise your hand. I'd love to make this as interactive as possible. I'd love to answer your questions while I'm up here doing a little storytelling and talking about shrimp toast. I love shrimp toast. I hope I can meet your expectation for shrimp toast. So a little bit about myself. I started cooking professionally about 20 years ago, okay? 20 years ago, I started cooking professionally. If you ask my father, I was a professional cook at the age of 3. I know it seems like it's hard to believe, but I was, apparently. He loves to tell this story now at the dinner table to impress any friends and family members about I basically was born with a spatula in my hand, okay? So when I was young, good, we've got red and white. These two gentlemen, big round of applause. Thank you for bringing us wine. He loves to tell the story that both my parents worked. My father worked the graveyard, not in a graveyard, the graveyard shift. That was weird. And my mother worked during the day. So it was kind of like two ships passing the night, worked really, really hard. My father overslept one day. There was a specific egg dish that he made every single morning for my brother and I. He had overslept. We were up right at 7 a.m. Where's the egg dish? Both parents sleeping. And I went downstairs and just started making food, apparently, and he came down in a panic. It's been 2 hours. He doesn't hear any noise. He wakes up. My children are downstairs alone, and I usually make this egg dish. He comes downstairs, and he's looking for the one and only pot that he normally makes this egg dish for me, and I'm sitting on the floor playing with a toy with my brother, and I kept saying, "Daddy, it's cooking." And he's like, "All right, Antonia, yeah, sure, it's cooking, it's cooking, it's cooking." I'm like, "No, it's cooking." Still looking for it, calling up to my mother upstairs. I can't find this pan. No sign of any distress in the kitchen, right? So suddenly, he decides to check the oven. And inside the oven, it's coming, right there. This gentleman first, because he's doing some kind of like wine dance. This was the celebration wine dance. If anyone needs wine, apparently this is what we're doing. And I said, "Daddy, it's cooking." He opened up the oven, and there was the pan that he made the eggs in every single morning with 2 eggs perfectly sunny side up in the oven cooking. The oven was not on. So they were in there for God knows how. I was very safe. I was like, I'm not allowed to turn the oven on. That part I knew. but there were 2 raw eggs in a pan in the oven for God knows how long. They're probably in there for like 2 hours. But the best part of the story is that there was like no eggshells anywhere to be found. There was no cracked eggs on the floor. There was actually no shells, he likes to say, even in the perfectly cracked eggs that were in the pan. So he said at that point he knew. I was like, really? At that point you knew. So that's where I like to say truly that this journey began for me. But really where it began was in New York City. I went to the French Culinary Institute. I don't know if anyone knows it. Oh, you went? No? Okay, sorry. I was like, what was your graduating class? Yes, New York, yes. We can like shout out to New York right now. Okay. Wine dance. You guys are getting rowdy. It's late in the day. So, started my career in not Long Island, that's where I'm from. I started my career at the French Culinary Institute and then went to work in California for Wolfgang Puck. Yes. So, how this story ends is I talk about a chef's point of view, okay? And that development of a point of view from a very young cook into the older person that I am today and the restaurants that I have and the way that my food is developed. So when I started working for Wolfgang Puck, very traditional, progressive California, us chefs and foodies like to throw around those strange words that nobody really understands, right? Progressive American Italian, progressive California cooking, fresh, blah, 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 blah. Whatever we want to call it, Wolfgang Puck does incredible, progressive, farm-to-table, French-inspired, California-inspired food. Very traditional, very fine dining. So for the majority of my culinary education, it was the best ingredients. It was foie gras and uni and all these very truffles and high-end butters and sauces and very rich, traditional food inspired by French, Indian, Italian cuisine. We've got white wine. Is there a different white wine dance? Okay, that's the white wine dance. This is like red wine. This is like white wine. If you guys need wine, lift your hand up. They all need wine over here. Do we have more bottles of wine? Okay, we're getting more bottles. Don't worry. So I spent my time with incredible mentors, incredible chefs who we made foie gras pastrami. We made torchon 7 different kinds of ways. And I sat there as a young cook, and everything that I ate, they would look at me and say, isn't this so delicious? And I would say, yes, chef, it's so delicious. And it was, different smoked fish and all these different things. And I loved learning about food. I loved the operation of food. I loved the discovery of food. And about 10 years later, one of my chefs made uni ice cream. Has anyone ever had uni ice cream? No? Okay. It was good. If you like uni, it's really good. But I put it in my mouth, and I had a total meltdown. He was like, isn't this good? And I was just like, no, it isn't good. I don't like it, and I don't want to make uni ice cream. And in that moment, I actually discovered that it was time for me to move on and find my way in food. I knew that I didn't want to do fine dining anymore. I knew that I wanted to be excited by the different cultures and the idea of street food and the idea of comfort food and the idea of, a little bit more rustic cuisine. And I really started to develop my voice as a chef in that moment. And any time someone asks how you got your start, when was that sort of light flicker in your brain came on that said, this is what I want to do, that was that moment of eating uni ice cream that I didn't like. And I felt strong and confident enough as a person to say, I don't like foie gras. I don't like uni. I don't like some of these very specific ingredients that I might walk out there right now, and I just said I don't like foie gras. See, Brooke Williams is looking at me, and she's like, crazy. Sorry, I'm just waving. Just saying hi. Oh, we're saying hi, and that we love foie gras. Not really. Everyone say hi to Brooke. Her demo's right after this. Make sure you guys watch. And her extremely attractive husband. I believe that they should be having more children. Everyone give them a round of applause. Yes. I like to embarrass her any chance I get. So in that moment, I really decided that is when I wanted to create different experiences. So Black Market, if you're ever in the Valley, that is my American eclectic restaurant. And I do a dish there called shrimp toast. The Shapiros know it. Shapiro's down in the front row. You guys know, you know it. And because Black Market has Korean chicken wings with kimchi cucumber, it has a version of shrimp toast on it. It also has oxtail spaghetti. It also has elote. It seems like a hodgepodge of dishes that don't fit and work, but it does somehow. And it fits and works because there's this idea that my point of view somehow comes through on the dish, and it becomes cohesive in my personality. Does that make sense? So when I ask people, oh, he needs more wine. You are trouble, sir. I was going to invite you up to ask you if you wanted to like work the heavy machinery, but now I think that would be not a good idea. So this is a dish inspired by my restaurant in Black Market. It's shrimp toast. What I know to be, I also did a show called Top Chef. I don't know if anybody knows it. So I did this dish on Top Chef with a couple of other Top Chefers, where we had to go and cook in a dim sum restaurant and create authentic dim sum, which for me, there's not really any authenticity to it. It's about using great ingredients and making my twist, okay? So what we have, guys, is a little bit of white bread, okay? White bread. Very, very simple. Shrimp toast is a version of street food. We don't need fancy bread. We want like Wonder White, right? Wonder White. There's a time and a place for all ingredients. No ingredient snobs allowed in the room, okay? White bread, we've all had it. We love it. Do not be scared of gluten. It will not hurt you, okay? Actually, it will hurt some people, that I believe. But in general, there was a joke that there was like some joke that went around, I think it was Matthew McConaughey, that was just like, these days in California, you could rob a bank with a bagel. And I was like, that has never been more true. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to roll out the white bread. See how thick it is here and how flat it is here? So this is a little trick that Suser Lee taught me, that you basically roll out the air in the white bread, okay? This is going to allow for a crispier element to the bottom of my shrimp toast. It's not going to absorb as much oil, okay? The air pockets allow for oil absorption. The flat little white bread does not allow for any oil absorption, okay? So I'm gonna roll out 2 of these for good measure. Now, normally at this point, I would put them into an oven and toast them, but because this is only 30 minutes, we're gonna be like, oh, they're toasted, TV magic. Okay, they're toasted now. Now we're going to build the farce. So you would, great question. You would toast them in the oven, and you guys should have little, recipes that should have full detail for you. You will toast them in a very low oven. I believe it says, someone help me out. 275? They know. Right over there. If you can talk to them after the show, they'll help you through this. Okay, good. Okay, so you would toast it in the oven for approximately 275. You don't want to get any color on the bread. That's the biggest goal. You want to dry it out, but you don't want to get any color because we're going to fry it, okay? The fryer is our friend. Say it with me. The fryer is our friend, okay? Butter is our friend. Say it. Butter is our friend. Okay. Things that are fried are good for you. See? You give them some wine, and before you know it, they're like drinking the Kool-Aid all day long. Okay. So, left side of the room, you guys are doing great with the recipe. Shrimp, water chestnuts, toasting in the oven, 275 the bread. We're going to do an egg and a little bit of cornstarch. Now, because I'm just up here and I'm talking, I'm just winging it. I also wing it in life. And I wing it in life and with things. Do not wing it with baking or with raising your children. But with this thing is fine, okay? So cornstarch, eggs, water chestnuts, and shrimp. We're going to do a little sesame oil and a little soy sauce. So basically what I'm doing is I'm seasoning the shrimp. Shrimp is very naturally salty, so that's great. Came from the ocean. Yes! I love you. You guys are the best. But I'm going to add a little extra salt because soy sauce is actually going to darken the shrimp. I don't want it super dark, so we're going to add a little bit of salt. We are also going to add some green onion and cilantro. I know that Fabio Viviani was just recently in this tent, and his disdain of cilantro, I'm glad he's not in here. Okay, good. No, it's just you guys still. Hi. So a little green onion and cilantro right into the Roboku. Now, if any of you guys are like me, when you put the Roboku together and you don't test it before you put your ingredients in, you're just like, ugh, let's hope it works. And what I do is pulse. Maybe not with this particular KitchenAid, because this is a sad little pulse. So I'm just going to go for it, okay? I'm just going to go for it. I'm winging it. We already talked about it. We're add more. Well, we got to be careful with the salt. Salt is good for you. Everyone say it. Salt is good for you. Right. Fried things are good for you. Okay. Yesterday during the my demonstration, I also told people that butter is the new kale. So there's that. There's that happening as well. So I know they said we're selling books later, but I feel like we should be selling like slogan T-shirts. Okay, so I'm not good with cameras. Can you see it? Oh. All right. So that is called a farce, not like, what's the actual dictionary definition of a farce? Like a ruse? A lot. Oh, it's fake. Thank you. Okay. This is not fake. This is real. The French call this a farce of filling. Okay. So if any of your like fancy pantsy like foodie friends or chefs are like, oh, the farce, you'd be like, I know what that means. Okay. It is just a filling. It's all it means. Okay. So this is our filling. You can use that term with raviolis. You can use that term with anything that you're gonna blend and fill, if you will. Okay. So left side of the room, right side of the room, you guys are not doing a good job with your recipe. You guys know the recipe? What's in here? Farce, shrimp, chestnuts, the herbs, cornstarch. So cornstarch and egg are out of necessity, not out of flavor. Okay, the cornstarch and the egg are what basically is going to keep the farce together from not falling apart in my pot of oil. Now, this is the hardest part of my day. Electric things. Okay? Yes. I'm going to wing it right now. I have to tell you, I still have an AOL account. Thank you. Thank you. You and I, right here. Okay? So I still have an AOL account. Do not judge me. That's why I can't operate these very scientific machines, okay? All right, so that is working over here. I have my plate ready. I have some garnish over here ready for you. Big round of applause to the culinary team outside that is bringing in your shrimp toast outside. So basically what I have in here is a micro mizuna and a micro shiso. So two really beautiful Asian greens. Shiso is this kind of beautiful Asian basil, if you will. And mizuna has a little bit more of a bitterness. I almost like to just say it resembles arugula in my world. Not as bitter, though. Not as peppery. Now we're going to also do a quick pickle. I have Persian cucumbers that I just shaved. Not really me. But I showed them how to shave it. Now, why do I use Persian cucumbers instead of a giant? So they're just tiny and adorable. And anytime you can make something smaller, it's adorable. And the other part to it is they fit so perfectly when you want, cucumbers are much larger. So if I'm shaving them, then I have to cut them down. They're going to lose the circular aspect that I'd like to keep. Also, Persian cucumbers barely have any seeds. So they're little tiny baby cucumbers that have no seeds. So for me, they kind of take all of the, they take out of the work. They take the work out. All right. So quick pickle. Delicious. A little bit of sesame seed. So I'm setting up my garnish here. Peanut oil is heating. I like to fry in peanut oil. You can absolutely substitute. She asked if you can substitute peanut oil, 100%. I have a little bit of sriracha, right? Who doesn't love sriracha? And a little bit of mayonnaise. The one thing I learned about culinary competition is like if you feel like you're missing something and you need a sauce, the best quick sauce to make is mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is good for you. Mayonnaise is good for you, okay? Mayonnaise can also survive pretty much anything. Okay, so all I did was mix together sriracha and mayonnaise. You can take this a step further and add ginger, cilantro, galanga, lime zest. There's a lot of different things that you can continue to build this and add to it. So now I've got sauce, quick pickled cucumbers, bonito flake, and a little bit of the greens. I'm going to now build my shrimp toasts. Shrimp toast. That's a mouthful. How did they do? Did they do a good job back there? Yes? Or do I need to speak to them? You tell me. All right. So all you guys are going to do, I wanted you guys to be able to eat and drink while we were doing this and see the finished product. So here, sorry, camera? Okay. Shrimp toast, okay? So simple. I'm actually going to fry it belly side down. Obviously, this doesn't really have a belly, but you understand what I'm going for. You're going to do it shrimp side down. Okay, I have no thermometer up here to test if my oil is ready. That's okay, because I have a very technical way of finding out if the oil's ready. Did your parents ever teach you how to do that? Right. So, very dangerous, right? So, apparently my parents wouldn't let me turn on the oven to cook eggs, but when they taught me how to test if oil was hot, they said just flick it with some water. Don't worry, I'm professional. I'm not going to hurt you guys. It's not ready. All right, so while this is getting ready to fry, I'm going to turn it all the way up. Yeah. We're just going to go full blast now. Do you guys have questions, comments, concerns while I start to fry the shrimp toast? Really? Nothing? Yes. Yes. So the question is that I recently just opened a restaurant called Dama in downtown Los Angeles. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's Latin inspired. And during all of my research and development for the restaurant, I spent a lot of time in Colombia. I spent time in Spain. I spent time in Mexico. And I have to be honest, some of my travels in Mexico to Mexico City, Oaxaca, Valle Guadalupe, were so incredible. So she asked specifically about Mexican food. It is so diverse throughout the entire country, and I think that's the best part about Mexican food, is that from city to city, town to town, it is so different. I have to say I really loved Oaxaca. It was one of my favorites, Oaxaca. It was... There was something that, it almost reminds me, you know when you guys come to Palm Desert, I don't know if anyone's in LA and they come out here, there's something that's in the air that just feels like restorative. There's something in the desert air that makes you, yes, that makes you kind of rebuild. The same kind of energy is in Oaxaca. So I don't know if it's all of those like beautiful like shrines, but that's kind of how I feel about it. All right, we've got some bubbling happening there. Any other questions while I'm frying? No? Did you enjoy your wine? Did you enjoy your shrimp toast? Good. Okay, so in it goes. Now, the only thing that is keeping the shrimp attached to the bread as it's upside down is the cornstarch and the egg. So it's going to fry. Shrimp cooks very quickly. Have you guys, I'm sure, cooked some shrimp before in your lifetimes? Cooks very quickly. So it's just about allowing it to get brown, cook, take it out, and we're done. And that is plastic, so we're not going to stick that in there. And so you see how the edges start to get nice and dark? This is why when you're toasting it, you don't want it to get dark. so that it doesn't get darker as it fries. Does that make sense? So it's going to be in and out. I'm going to turn this off because that's how quick it is. And I have to say, I don't make anything in my demonstrations that y'all can't make at home. Now, apparently, I'm from Texas. I really don't. I really like making things that everyone can make at home. So, bread, really that simple. Most of this was storytelling and chatting with you guys. Bread, squeeze out all the air, throw some shrimp and ingredients inside of a Roboku, put it in the fryer, mix some mayonnaise and hot sauce together, pickle some cucumbers, and impress your friends everywhere, okay? This actually, I like to do this sometimes because let's just wing it, right? We've already been talking about it. I got my spoon, Sriracha Aioli. Good amount of mayonnaise. Why? Because mayonnaise is good for you. So we got something fried, we have something creamy. That's why we're using a ton of pickled cucumber right there with apple cider vinegar. Okay? I'm very healthy. We've already established that. Then we have the MISHNA and the SHISO. Okay? All of which is edible and delicious, not just for prettiness. And then bonito flake. And that's it. There's so much fan in here. My bonito flake's going everywhere. I love you guys. This was awesome. I appreciate you. If you have any questions about anything, I'm outside. If you want to just hang out, you want to sign a book, great. If you just want to say hi and take a picture, that's good too. You want to ask me any questions, we're good. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's not over, right? You got a whole other day tomorrow. But I love you. Thank you so much. If you're in LA, come see me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.